406 Tech Talk, where today's topic is reviewing the Hour of Code event that we just had this past weekend and talking to you about some of our favorite things since it's the holiday season and we have wish lists made out. So that's our day today. Welcome. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hello. So the Hour of Code event was such a success, you guys, and I want to take this time to commend both of you for organizing it and planning it and getting all of the helpers, and it was awesome.
It was so fun.
Awesome.
It was, I think it was probably more fun for us than anybody, just because it was overwhelming how many kids we had that were interested in it, and how many volunteers we were able to get to volunteer their time on a Saturday, and the kids were. Oh, it was just, I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah. Maybe we should explain what it was.
Sure. Let's do it.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. So how would you explain what it was? Like, if we called it the EFG, but that makes no sense probably to our audience.
Engaging future geeks. And
yeah.
We think being a geek is actually a good thing.
Right. That's cool.
Myself a geek,
yeah.
Raising a couple geeks. I would say this was a nationwide event put on by
Code.org.
Right, where they encouraged however many million kids to spend 1 hour.
They wanted 10 million, and I think they got 15 million.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
At some point during that week to just spend an hour doing activities that were related to coding.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that the website, csedweek.org, encouraged was to either have teachers do an hour of code in their class, or assign kids a kind of a homework assignment to do an hour of code at home, or for schools to put on an event, or for community to put on an event. And we thought it just happened to coincide with our meeting a really amazing kid at
Diego.
Yep, at a school, a 6th grader at Meadowlark. We were just so amazed by how much knowledge he had and so much excitement. And so we wanted to put on some kind of event related to him, and found that this just happened to be during this week. So we thought, let's do a Saturday event.
53
Wow.
when it was all said and done.
So 53 kids to come to school on
a Saturday.
It was incredible. And
Yeah.
and we took them on tours of some of the offices where the guys upstairs that actually do coding, comfortably or uncomfortably, got to show what they do and show where they work, and so the kids could see their offices and their multiple computer monitors, and then brought them down, and they sat for an hour and just did coding and games. It was fun.
Well, and I think it's important to point out that the Hour of Code basically gave you everything that you needed to make this event a success, but Shelly and Ann took it the next step, and then even the next step, and added events so that kids could actually learn from real people that do program for a living. They were able to do some activities so that they wouldn't feel uncomfortable if they were by themselves, you know, if they didn't have any classmates. And then also just being able to explore and play, I thought was really, to add those things into the event. So our Hour of Code turned out to be a few hours.
Was it 3?
Yeah.
3 hours. And I think that was really nice.
I also think a flip-flop part of that has to be pointed out is we asked, some of the quietest, shyest people who sit behind desks and look at numbers and symbols and stuff all day to come and spend 3 hours with kids. And it turned out to be a day where they got to kind of remember where they came from and see these kids who are so excited, and boys and girls and little kids and big kids. I mean, it was fun.
Okay. So we would love to thank those people who volunteered their time and their energy to help us on a Saturday. So it was our Billings department, technology department, and we had 5 volunteers programs, and then the 3 of us. We had tons of teachers who volunteered their computers and their time.
Oh, that's right. We had Amy Leffler's Chromebooks and Tana Robinson's Chromebooks. That was
Jamie Jarvis.
Jamie Jarvis's.
So they buzzed over on Saturday and gave us those. And then Tana and Jamie and Carrie Woodard
and Diane Jensen.
All volunteered their time. And then we had some awesome programmers from the community. Jeremy Stricker from Cottonwood Computers.
Who also bought lunch for 53 kids
For 50
and
kids.
20 adults.
Yeah, and that pizza was good.
He hit the spot.
Yeah. David Shop from Computers Unlimited, and he was awesome.
And I have to
with
tell
the
you,
kids.
I have to tell you a little story. One of our programmers, he's actually our network engineer, Larry Bybee, doesn't really program that much. I mean, he has. Was Diego raised his hand, and Larry came over, and Diego was learning how to build an iPhone app. And he got to a point that he didn't know what he was supposed to do. And Larry was, I don't know what you're supposed to do either. And so he said, David, come over here.
Oh, cool.
Can you? And so Dave got to work with Diego, and then came and said, that kid is
Yeah,
amazing.
he is
so
amazing.
Really excited to know that we have many students in our district that are going to do, you know, bigger and better things, but Diego's definitely one of them.
One awesome thing about Diego is he doesn't have his own computer.
Oh.
He doesn't have a computer at home, and so it's all just that
We
autumn.
should see if we could get
I know.
somebody.
Who could do
Hint,
it? I know, but
One of our other volunteers, Kyle Brucker
I
from
know.
Gateway, he came home and said the same thing. Wow, there are some amazingly smart kids in this district. So we got to see some really neat melding of experts and soon-to-be experts coming together.
yeah. And Kyle was also just awesome with those kids.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he better be.
They're both trained. Would get the what for.
Yeah.
We also had several parents who stayed and helped,
Yeah.
and kind of walked the kids through the tour and stayed, and just helped them with the activities. So that was great for those parents to
Yeah.
see.
Well, and I also want to thank our prize givers. We gave away
Yeah.
2 Kindle Fires and some awesome headphones from you guys, MCCE.
Right, the Montana Council for Computers and Technology and Education donated the prizes. I thought that was awesome.
And
Thank
the
you so
kids were
much.
they were so excited to maybe get that Kindle Fire.
And the kids who
So
did win, I mean, it was so exciting.
It was really cool.
Yeah, very much. Power of Code definitely was an event that we felt was beneficial to the students to learn some new things. But what do you guys feel like were some of the outcomes of the Hour of Code, besides just exposing them to tools?
Yeah. Well, exposure, and then I just think that patience. That is so important for coding. It was really neat to see kids not figure something out and not give up, because they knew they had a time limit. It was an hour, and they had to try things several times to get it right. So I just love seeing that patience and tenacity, and you'd see them counting down and over and up, and what great problem solving in a fun environment.
And it was proof positive that making a mistake is a valuable process, because they would do something wrong and then they would test it out, and it's like, that's not what I wanted it to look like, and they'd go back and they'd redo it, and then they'd continue that process until that they had figured it out. That's learning.
Yeah, which is exactly what our professional programmers explain to us what they do in their jobs. So the skills that those kids were learning that day are career-oriented skills. The other thing that I saw that I thought was great was the collaboration. Did you guys notice? There was a lot, and it was great collaboration. It was like, oh, I see what you're, okay, now I'm going to try that,
My favorite part was there was a little group of girls up at the front, and at one point there were 4 or 5 of our, we called them our experts or our masters. There were like 4 or 5 masters huddled around this one or 2 girls, and they were all trying to figure out this problem, whatever the activity was.
I think it was Tinker.
Yeah, it was Tinker.
Desiree said, how many computer masters does it take to figure out Tinker? It was a good, it just shows that just because you're a tall person, an adult, you're not necessarily an expert, we all have things to contribute, and the more we do that collaboration, the better the outcome is.
Right. And I just want to give a shout out to Haley, who's in Mrs. Leffler's 4th grade class at Meadowlark. She really had those IT guys stumped. So, way to go, Haley.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, and I heard from her teacher that she went home that day and took a nap. She was exhausted. But then got up and did more coding.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the cool thing too, is kids still can do it at home, or adults.
So we mentioned one of our masters, and one of the things that he said was Terry Bybee. And to meet Terry, he does some really in-depth work here for our school district. And we sat down with him.
And he's a cool cat. I called him a closet teacher. That's what he is.
He is a closet teacher.
He's a closet teacher.
He had so much fun with the kids. We played a game at the beginning of it, and you have to do an action that the person beside you directs you to do. And one of the kids said,
we could demonstrate. Now we know.
I think we have some footage. But the kid, he was assigned to pretend he was catching a Frisbee in his teeth, and he jumped up in the air and caught the Frisbee and rolled down on the ground like, what a good sport.
Yeah.
So in the midst of this intense work that he does, he's such an interesting person and such a fun person to talk to. So he's our who's who and what do they do person for this week. So we'd like you to meet Terry Bybee.
Let's meet Terry Bybee, cool cat and coding king.
My name is Terry Bybee. I work for Billings Public Schools. I am a Information Specialist 2. I started out at the district as a core technical engineer, but they eventually moved me more towards like writing code and like enterprise level software. It's just big pieces of software that lots of people can use.
Chances are, if your life has been made easier by some district program, Terry's been behind it.
So I built the help desk so that we could make it. And when we talked about it, when Karen and I talked about it, the goal was to make it as simple for the teachers as possible. We wanted it to be really easy because we know that they're so busy with other things that are so much more important than filling out a help desk. The other thing that you get that is seen is probably the leave requests. That was the first. I think that was the first piece of software that I built that I was so thankful that I built it. I hated filling out the paper leaves. Do you remember those stinking forms?
Hated them.
Like because it was for everybody, it had to have so much. It couldn't be tailored to a teacher or a technology person. So there was so many different pieces that I would always go to Karen and be like, do I need to fill this out? Is this important? So when I first got to fill up my very first leave on the new system, I was like, this is fantastic. Who wrote this? This is so great. I'm so thankful. To take this thing that was not very good and that didn't work very well and to make it work really well and be very easy to use was a lot of work, and it was kind of a cool thing.
Just as you'd expect from any real genius, Terry's work is never really done.
Right now, the big piece of software that I'm working on is the textbook inventory system. It's in the high schools now. It's going to be in the middle schools and elementary schools, hopefully. And that's so we can keep track better of the books.
Terry is living proof that learning and making mistakes is part of a lifelong process.
For the textbook inventory system compared to like the leave request or the help desk, it was really difficult because there's actual tangible things that we're dealing with now, as opposed to just data. I built the whole system of the textbook inventory system and didn't think, what happens when a barcode gets smudged and you can't scan it? Like, we got out to the schools and they were like, oh, this one's smudged, what do we do? And I was like, I don't know, Karen! But when I was writing it, there were things that were, I would always explain it like there were hills that I had to get over, that I didn't know, I'd never done it.
Terry was able to act as an inspiration and put his spirit of lifelong learning to good use when he participated as a technology master at the Hour of Code event.
I thought it was cool that it wasn't just boys, that there were girls there. I thought that was so neat. There were like, to have so many of them interested, I was just taken aback by that. And coding, the idea of writing code isn't just, oh, well, I'm a programmer, that's the only place I can use writing code. It's higher level problem solving. Mm-hmm. It's being able to think logically about a situation, so you can use coding in anything that you do, whether you write programs or not, whether you run a business, whether you do something else like that. Like you can take the principles of like trying to break down a problem to its simplest pieces and then trying to build back.
So how does Terry relate the skills of coding to the lifelong learning process?
When I first started, and I was really bad at what I did, that it was so exciting when I would run up against a problem and bang my head against a problem for an hour. And coding is just a synonym for learning. It's just a way to look at a situation and try to think differently about it, look at it from different angles.
Thanks, Terry, for your part in making our district a better place to work and learn.
Terry does some amazing things for our district, and I think that video just shows a sample of what he does.
And his awesome personality.
And his awesome personality, yeah. And that's, you know, it's such a rarity, but our district is filled with people that do very technical things, but can explain it in a way that makes sense to folks. And we also want to take this time to remind you that that help desk ticket is so essential to get our technology department personnel to help you in a timely manner. And the more information you put in that help desk ticket, screenshots, descriptions, whatever it can be, even to get integration specialists out there training you, that's a help desk ticket as well. So it's
and if nothing else, fill out the help desk ticket because you just met Terry and he's program. He wants you to use it.
Let him know that you value his work.
Yeah, he wrote that program. That's crazy.
And he loves it every time someone uses it.
Yeah.
So speaking of loving things, one of the things we did when we got all those kids together is we had them come up, and all around the room we interviewed each of them, and we asked them, what are some of your favorite tech gadgets? What are some tech tools that you love? And here's what they had to say.
A laptop.
A tablet?
I like to play on the computer. Nintendo Fire. It is a Samsung. Real. My mom's phone. An iPhone. A computer. I kind of like tablets. It's an iPad. Favorite tech gadget is an iPad. It is a computer. My favorite gadget is the iPod 5th generation because it has Siri and it has some fun games on it.
This is my Kindle Fire. Woo.
The computer because you can do so much stuff and play games on it.
Gadget is the MacBook Air.
Gadget is a computer because you can do more games on it for free.
Favorite gadget is the Nintendo Entertainment System.
Favorite gadget is my iPhone.
Max.
Mostly.
My brain.
So what about you guys? What are some of your favorite things?
Oh, sure. Well, my favorite tech gadget is probably my Bluetooth speakers. I have the little tiny round ones. Oh, they're so awesome. So without a doubt, that's probably my favorite gadget.
I think that's a good one. And you know, I brought along my AirStash, and this is one of my favorite tech gadgets. And an AirStash is actually a wireless network storage device, which sounds kind of bizarre, but it literally allows you to store files on an SD card and then access them. It acts as a wireless access point and then allows you to access them. So if you're driving in your car, Christmas break, and you have a couple kids in the car, they can actually be watching a video, separate videos from this device, or you can play music, or you can store any type of file because it's storage, and you can access it then from your computer or iPad, iPhone,
anything that picks up a wireless signal.
Exactly. So this is one of my favorite gadgets.
It's really cool. Yeah. And mine is ultra geek. Oh, I'm embarrassed to actually admit this, but my favorite tech gadget is my flash drive earrings.
She made these too.
Yes.
Yeah. I was at Walmart at the beginning of when school first started, and all of that stuff was on sale, and these are 16 gigabytes each. And
which is so nice.
Yeah.
I've used them so many times. You just pull them. Oh, you need the Starboard software. Here you go. You know, look how small memory has gotten now, and very geeky.
You know, I do have to tell you though, you're in good company because Kathy Hoyt, who's the librarian at Castle Rock, for years has had little flash drive earrings that she loves to show off when she does training. So
you just use what you got.
You do.
What about
absolutely.
like apps and stuff? How about favorite?
Sure. So favorite app is probably, well, Flipboard. As a person, I love Flipboard because it feeds all of my professional reading, all of my personal reading into one magazine. So I get CNN and Twitter and Google Plus and Facebook, all of it in one beautiful little magazine. So that's probably my favorite personal one. My favorite one as a teacher was always Timer Plus though.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a simple free app that just changes the learning environment. So those are probably my 2 favorite apps.
Yeah. I have to say my favorite app, it would be a tie between a few, but one of them is Bump. Bump photos or videos or files from one device to another, literally by going like this. And then you would just see it magically move over. And you can bump to your iPad, or you can bump to your Chromebook.
Or your computer. That's the one I like. Yeah, it is cool.
And you know, I love Bump too, but if I'm going to move a larger file,
or multiple files.
Exactly, multiple files, videos or photos, I use an app that's $2.99, but so worth it, called PhotoSync. And you install PhotoSync on any of your devices, so I can actually transfer files to your devices or my computer or between my devices wirelessly, and I love that app as well.
Yeah, that ties in with, I was going to say PhotoSync as well, that ties in with my other favorite app, which is the iMovie app for the iPad. It's so easy to use.
You are a master at iMovie.
iMovie.
Yeah, especially that iPad.
Yeah,
That's
it's just so easy to use, and if you got a newer iDevice,
unless you're Shelly,
I know, or Desiree,
the updated one came for free. So my iMovie is amazing, but it's using all these tools together to kind of almost have a mashup of different. I don't know, just tools and
to create some awesome thing, which is so cool that technology has gotten us to the creator position.
And you know, can I mention one app I didn't think about when we were brainstorming our apps? Is that Stop Motion Studio.
Oh yeah, you like
Stop Motion Studio I've been using with a lot of primary teachers for all different kinds of things, spelling, science, math, you name it. And what it is you take a series of pictures. It's literally creating an animation from stills. So it's the old-fashioned flipped card that makes the person move and create a video out of it.
Yeah.
And the kids love it.
They catch right onto it too.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Definitely.
Any other techie things you guys love?
Well, personally, I love the website mint.com, where all of your finances are synced into one location, and you can set goals, and it tells you when you spend too much in one area. So personally, that's like my go-to thing on my computer.
Yep.
I have to say that I have 2 addictions. One is Kindle, because I love to read. So, and then I'm proud to say I am a Smurf game. It's the only game I play. I love Smurfs, but it actually has some educational components because you really have to be economic when you're growing your crops.
Speaking of mint.
It was a great seg. Hey, it's like SimCity, but only with blue people.
I don't even know what to say. I don't. I've never.
I think that's enough.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
What I think I love the best is just that there's almost an app for anything.
Right.
If you're looking for something, you go and you find it, and it exists. And I think that with the help of these kids, 53 kids who are sitting and learning code, if the app doesn't exist yet, by
they're
golly, it will.
Exactly. That's what's cool, is they will be the ones to create all of these future tools that we love.
You know, and one of the questions came up, this hour of code information that was on their website, is that stuff going to go away? And I got an email from them I just read yesterday, and they said, a lot of you have been asking if this is going to go away, and they're going to keep it up forever. So if you're a kiddo that, you know, really enjoyed the Saturday you were with us, or maybe you couldn't attend for some reason or another, you can go to code.org, and you will be able to find all those tutorials and links to those tools, and still be able to code your heart out. So,
and not just for kids, but for tall kids. Over the age of, say, 20. So we want to show just a little video introduction in case you didn't get to participate and are maybe interested in participating, the introduction video, and then some of the tools that you have available.
I was 13 when I first got access to a computer.
My parents bought me a Macintosh in 1984 when I was 8 years old.
I was in 6th grade.
I learned to code in college.
Freshman year, first semester, intro to computer science.
I wrote a program to play tic-tac-toe.
I think it was pretty humble beginnings. I think the first program I wrote asked things like, what's your favorite color? Or how old are you?
I first learned how to make a green circle and a red square appear on the screen.
The first time I actually had something come up and say, "Hello world," and I made a computer do that. It was just astonishing.
Learning how to program didn't start off as wanting to learn all of computer science or trying to master this discipline or anything like that. It just started off because I wanted to do this one simple thing. I wanted to make something that was fun for myself and my sisters, and I wrote this little program and then basically just add a little bit to it. And then when I needed to learn something new, I looked it up either in a book or on the internet and then added a little bit to it.
It's really not unlike kind of playing an instrument or something, or playing a sport. It starts out being very intimidating, but you kind of get the hang of it over time.
Coding is something that can be learned, and I know it can be intimidating. A lot of things are intimidating, but you know, what isn't?
A lot of the coding that people do is actually fairly simple. It's more about the process of breaking down problems than sort of coming up with complicated algorithms as people traditionally think about it.
When I was in school, I was in this after-school group called the Whiz Kids. And when people found out, they laughed at me and, all these things. And I'm like, man, I don't care. I think it's cool. And, I'm learning a lot. And some of my friends have jobs.
Our policy is literally to hire as many talented engineers as we can find. The whole limit in the system is just that there just aren't enough people who are trained and have these skills today.
To get the very best people, we try to make the office as awesome as possible.
We have a fantastic chef.
Free food.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Free laundry.
Snacks. Even places to play and video games and scooters. There's all these kind of interesting things around the office and places where people can play or relax or go to think or play music or be creative.
If someone had told me that software is really about humanity, that it's really about helping people by using computer technology, it would have changed my outlook a lot earlier.
To be able to actually come up with an idea and then see it in your hands and then be able to press a button and have it be in millions of people's hands. I think we're the first generation in the world that's really ever had that kind of experience.
Just to think that you can start something in your college dorm room and you can have a set of people who haven't built a big company before come together and build something that 1 billion people use as part of their daily lives is just crazy to think about, right? It's humbling and it's amazing.
The programmers of tomorrow are the wizards of the future. You're gonna look like you have magic powers compared to everybody else.
I think it's amazing. I think it's the closest thing we have to a superpower.
So as you can see, there's lots of resources for you to continue to learn to be a problem solver and to code. We want to take a moment today to wish everyone a happy new year. We're really looking forward to the new year and continuing to learn and grow with our teachers and our students and each other.
One of the things that is going to be a big change for you and for all of us is our Director of Technology, Karen Palmer, is leaving. She's going to Missoula to take on a new adventure, and stepping in to fill her place for a little while is the amazing Desiree Caskey. And she's got a big job ahead of her, and I think that she's a good person for the job.
Thank you. Well, here's what I want to say is the job will be difficult for me because I don't know what I'm doing, but I feel so much support from the people in our department, especially you two. I know that we have an absolutely amazing crew, and I'm really looking forward to working closely with everyone.
And take the words of Terry. Make a mistake, fix it, do it better next time. Make a mistake, fix it, do it better.
Yeah.
These wise words.
I have a feeling that's what's going to happen.
That's learning. Yep, and we're here to help you. That part of being great is surrounding yourself with great people, and we have great people we get to work with. So congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
So happy New Year!
Happy New Year!